We hope you're enjoying all the great competition you're seeing here today. At the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union, we're grateful for the incredible support that makes this event possible. None more vital or valued than the proud title sponsor, Iowa Farm Bureau. With me here today is Brent Johnson, president of the Iowa Farm Bureau, to explain why their organization invests in and supports the Girls Union.
Thanks, Aaron. The Iowa Farm Bureau has been the title sponsor of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union for more than 2 decades now. The athletes competing here today represent the very best of our nation's student athletes, driven, dedicated, and committed to teamwork. At the Iowa Farm Bureau, we share those same values. Our farmers lead the nation not only in the production of corn, hogs, eggs, and ethanol, but also in the implementation of a number of innovative soil and water conservation practices which hold soil in place and reduce runoff. These shared values unite Iowa's student athletes and farm families, and our partnership with the Girls Union gives us the perfect opportunity to celebrate that commitment to excellence statewide.
Thank you, Brent. We appreciate the Iowa Farm Bureau's ongoing support and the role you play in helping Iowa's girls shine.
Good afternoon and welcome into Farm Bureau Field at Harlan and Hazel Rogers Sports Complex in Fort Dodge, Iowa, home of the Girls State Softball Tournament presented by Iowa Farm Bureau. I'm John Schaefer, Ben Gislison alongside me, and in just a moment we'll have this great matchup in the semifinal series between Edgewood-Colesburg taking on Exira-EHK-Audubon. The Spartans and Vikings duking it out. I don't know who would have won this in historic references, but no less, we saw the first matchup between these two, the 8th seed and the Vikings topping the Spartans in a 6-3 battle. Again, this being brought to you on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company. And Ben, really quick before we get to our introductions, another fun one dialing in as we get into the double elimination semifinals.
Well, firstly, the proud Scandinavian in me would say the Vikings would top the Spartans. So we'll have to wait and see if that plays out again here in this rematch. But the thing I'm thinking about is for the Spartans, they got to win 2 today to get on. Where the Vikings, if they take care of business in this game in the semis, they'll have a date with potentially Clarksville or Fort Dodge, St. Edmund, who's coming up later on this afternoon. So you got to take care of business, right? For one team, they need to win 2. One team, it's just 1. So it all comes down to this game, and we'll see what we end up seeing the rest of the afternoon.
Well, let's bring up the Sioux Cup stats on that note. Both teams know how to put up plenty of runs, averaging north of 8 a game. Also, don't give up a lot of hits defensively. You look at that batting average against, can set you up one of 2 ways, pitcher's duel or a slugfest. What would you prefer to see today?
I always like a good pitcher's duel, and maybe that's just every sport, I like teams that play defense well, defend well, pitch well, those special positions, those game-breaking positions. So for my druthers, I'd take a pitching duel, but I wouldn't mind a slugfest either. Let's just get some good, entertaining softball, which is what these two teams seem to have presented so far in the tournament.
Well, we're getting ready to get this first pitch going. First, let's turn it over to our public address announcer for our starting lineups and the rest of the rosters.
Shortstop, Faye Dugan. Batting second, number 4, the left fielder, Ava Hofer. Batting third, number 25, the pitcher, Rachel Eggleseder. Batting fourth, number 6, the catcher, McKenna Hofer. Batting fifth, number 10, the first baseman, Lauren Kirby. Batting sixth, number 11, the second baseman, Addie Schmelzer. Batting seventh, Batting ninth, number 2, the center fielder, Avery Brown. And in the flex, number 3, the third baseman, Eva Vasky. Head coach for the Vikings, Taylor Newberg. And now let's meet the Spartans from Exira-EHK-Audubon. First of the non-starters, number 3, Jocelyn Jacobson. Number 13, Brenna Nelson. Number 14, Evelyn Gomez. Number 17, Brooklyn Snyder. And number 22, Maya Jing. The assistant coaches, Chris Obermeyer, Alexis Obermeyer, and Shay Burmeister. The starting lineup for the Spartans. Leading off, number 12, the shortstop, Karen Peterson. Batting second, number 7, the center fielder, Anna Larson. Batting third, number 4, the pitcher, Riley Miller. Batting cleanup, number 27, the first baseman, Riley Peterson. Batting fifth, number 10, the third baseman, Lucy Stannerson. Batting sixth, number 6, the left fielder, Abby Wanzer. Batting seventh, number 15, the catcher, Zoe Rasmussen. Batting eighth, number 5, the designated player, Skylar Rasmussen. Batting ninth, number 16, the right fielder, Jordan Harper. And in the flex, number 20, the second baseman, Aubrey Nelson. And coach for the Spartans, Tom Peterson. Ladies and gentlemen, your umpires. Behind the plate, Mr. Dewey Humke. At first base, Mr. Todd Donalds. And at third base, Mr. Darrell Meyer. Your umpires. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for State
Once again, you're watching the 2026 Girls State Softball Tournament presented by the Iowa Farm Bureau as sole title sponsor of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. Iowa Farm Bureau is proud to champion our youth and all they have to offer Iowa's great future. And certainly looking at the road to this point in the tournament, you look back, Game 1, Edgewood-Colesburg tops Exira-EHK-Audubon 6-3. An 8-1 upset, and then from there, Exira-EHK has battled back. Tops West Monona 11-1 yesterday morning. Then last night, knocks off Southeast Warren as well, 5-4, a walk-off in that one, Ben. So again, Exira-EHK, the Spartans certainly playing with plenty of life and understand the circumstances they have to get through today.
Yeah, well, and the big thing you look at, I look back at this game to open the tournament, and you got Riley Miller with 3 hits in that game, and that was kind of it. So if you're looking at today's matchup, can you get a few more of these bats to come to life up in the lineup? The Taryn Petersons, the Anna Larsons, Briley Peterson hitting it in the cleanup spot. Can you get a little more support? Riley Miller obviously did her duty going 3 for 3 that day, but it's a team game softball. You need more to try to get some runs against what obviously the expectation is taking on Rachel Eggleseder, who's been brilliant this year in the circle for this Vikings team.
Then on the other side of things, this is an Edco team that really found a way and some life as the 8 seed to navigate through. They get the win, obviously, in the opening round, and then they go and knock off the hard-hitting Southeast Warren squad that put up 21 runs in their first game of the tournament. Edco beat Southeast Warren 8-5. Now they've been able to kind of cruise into this moment today, some extra rest. And do you think the extra rest pays off in this format, plus knowing that you get maybe a little bit of a buffer in needing to, in this Exira-EHK team, knowing that they need to win too?
Yeah, and I look right away to who's in the circle, right? I mean, I think that's one of the big things when you look at a pitcher in Eggleseder that has just been outstanding all season long. 22 wins, 283 strikeouts. I mean, she's been dynamite, and to have her get some rest, the arm's going to be fresh. It's going to be key today for this Vikings team.
Well, Riley Miller starts things off with a strike to Faith Duggan, then comes back with some heat on the inside part of the plate. It's a 1-1 count to Faith Duggan.
Well, look, Riley Miller, we've talked about Eggleseder, but Riley Miller no slouch on the other end either. She's carried a lot of the water for this Exira-EHK-Audubon team and experience in the tournament too.
Ball looped over to second, and it bounds away from Nelson, and a leadoff single from Dugan. And we got one aboard.
Another wacky hop. And, John, we were here for the game prior to this, Remsen St. Mary's and St. Edmunds, and we saw some strange bounces in the dirt, and that's a similar one where it looked like Addie Schmelzer had her body in front of it, all of a sudden takes a wacky bounce, and the leadoff runner's aboard.
Now we look ahead. Ava Hofer steps in, left fielder for the squad, and the throw down is in time. The tag on the back of Dugan. And you appreciate that Edco trying to be aggressive on the base paths early. It's just a dime from Zoe Rasmussen behind the dish.
Well, and up in a flash, too. And there's so much going on in a situation like that if you're behind the dish. Your peripherals say, all right, runner's going. So you know that pitch is coming in. You got to get up, you got to get set, and you got to get that ball down as quickly as you can. And that was on a rope. And the other thing, too, is you got to make sure that it's in there for the tag. You don't want to have your shortstop have to bring that ball down from too high or you're not going to get there in time. So perfect execution from Zoe Rasmussen behind the dish.
And Peterson, who made that tag, getting some attention from her coach, I think just came up a little bit worse for the wear. That's Taryn Peterson out there at shortstop, just getting some attention. I think maybe twisted up a little bit on that tag as she reached behind her, and obviously never want to see that, but head coach and Tom Peterson coming out to check on Taryn.
Well, especially not for a junior that has the second most at-bats on the team. I mean, she's your leadoff hitter. She means so much to you not only in the field but in the batter's box too. So good to see her seemingly shaking this one off to this point, hopefully.
Wondering if she caught a cleat or a spike across the shin maybe, because now we see a trainer coming out. She rolls the sock down, which may mean a little bit of blood out there, and so they'll want to get that gauzed up. And we have our first pause of the game after that throwdown. And Taryn Peterson, again, this season, solid player, just a junior. You also have Briley Peterson, the sophomore, in this roster in relation to Tom Peterson, the head coach for Exira-EHK-Audubon, and I'm sure a little concerned.
You know, I've not coached a child in a game before myself. John, you have. You have concern for all you have concern for all your players, but I'd imagine there's a little extra maybe worry when it's your daughter that takes the cleat. So
got to separate yourself a little bit from it and be coach in that spot, but also a little empathetic.
Well, one of those strange pauses early in a game, too, here where, and we were talking about this a lot in the last matchup, John, errors and little mental blunders at this level, semifinal of a state tournament, you can go flawless in a game and you might not win. So those 1-2 little mistakes you make can be so costly, and you have to be so dialed in every pitch, even the ones that don't wind up getting swung at. And so now we've got one of these situations here for both teams.
Yeah.
Probably more so for Exira-EHK-Audubon than for the team batting in Edgewood-Colesburg. But, you know, you're seeing the little the gatherings here in the infield, the gatherings in the outfield. You got to stay in it. You can't get too caught up in this pause here. You want to stay light. You don't want to be, ratchet it up too far, be too dialed in. And you want to make sure that you stay on top of it. And the numbers that she has.
That ball hit high. It's going to just camp out underneath it. Does Larson for out number 3. A 1-2-3, top of the first here for Exira-EHK. They're due up in the home half of 1 on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
If you grill it, he will come.
Co-op, as the Spartans look to Taryn Peterson to lead things off, steps right in after getting a spike. 32 appearances for this team, 180 innings pitched. 283 strikeouts, induces the fly ball here. Calling it off is Schmelzer. Good command out there by the second baseman for out number 1.
Yeah, Eggleseder's numbers are just remarkable. Top 5 in 1A ERA, strikeouts, whip, innings pitched. Also, we touched on it, didn't see it in the first inning, but 52 RBIs coming into the tournament. So someone who takes care of her own business sometimes on the other side of the ball. A masterful player at this level as a senior.
Well, and even more impressive, she's been battling stage 2 Hodgkin lymphoma and declared cancer-free in June. So congratulations to her in that battle. Obviously, everyone that battles it, a winner in my book. Doesn't matter which way it goes. So much respect, so props to her, and now what a great moment for her riding this into the state tournament.
Yeah, well said, John, and as impressive as those numbers are, and they are impressive, yeah, when you hear of those stories of anybody coming out of cancer and surviving it, what you're tested to do during those times, knowing people who've gone through it and won their battles is nothing short of miraculous and incredible. So.
Well, and I'm sure softball a great escape for her in the spring as well, but also at the same time a reminder that, find joy in the sport you're playing, because again, it can be taken from you in many different ways. We got that lesson with St. Mary's as well in our first game of the day. So again, you hate to see young people, period, affected by those types of things, but no less strong individuals, and sure makes her that much tougher to crack in the circle.
And it's always a reminder too, and John, you and I work in pro hockey, so it's a little easier said at that level where sometimes people don't think athletes are people too.
Yeah.
I mean, the same to be said in high school. This is a big stage, big pomp and circumstance. You don't necessarily, if you're from Edgewood-Colesburg, you don't really maybe know Exira-EHK-Audubon girls or what's going on, but everybody brings a different story and a different background into these games. You never quite know what people are dealing with off the field. And in this example, we do know what Eggleseder has dealt with, and it certainly, I'm sure, made her even that much more tougher of a pitcher with what she went through away from the circle.
Absolutely. Well, she's been dealing here, and a good battle with Anna Larson, the center fielder for this Exira-EHK team. And Larson, this season is a senior, batting .448 it looks like on the year. 4.23. My page is ripped. And Eggleseder with her first strikeout of the day, and 2 away, brings up Riley Miller.
Well, she's closing in on 300. I'm not sure if she'll get there in the tournament. The Vikings are going to need to advance for her to get there. She came into the tournament with 283, so she'd love to put a few more of those on her mantle here today in this semifinal.
Gets a little flare down the right field line. That's going to drift foul for strike 1 to Riley Miller.
Well, the first thing, and again, my first sample size of the senior Eggleseder, but there's a lot of power when she wants to bring the fastball in there. You can just hear the pop on the catcher's glove from up here in the press box. It's the telltale sign someone's got some zing behind their fastball. You can hear that snap into the glove.
Well, Eggleseder might be past the 300 mark. She had 15 strikeouts in the first matchup against Exira-EHK.
That's good homework, John. I would say she is definitely past that.
Considering she had a game against Southeast Warren as well. I'll pull that stat line up as we sit with an 0-2 count. A good battle once again from Eggleseder. Ahead in the count, can play with it. And she gets the offering. Strike 3 on the check swing by Miller. Back-to-back Ks. And we are scoreless, heading to the top of 2 on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
At Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Yeah, it's a trip when you hit the road. And when you know when you've arrived. It's a trip when you get everything you want. The burger and the fries, the creek and the crick, the city and the countryside. It's a trip when you're where you're meant to be. In this moment, in this bathroom mirror, looking like $1 million. And yeah, it's a trip when it goes by fast. Des Moines. It's a trip. Make it yours.
McKenna Hofer due up here for the Vikings of Edgewood-Colesburg after a 1-2-3, 1-2-3 start in the first. We'll see if the pitcher's duel wades on here in inning number 2. And Hofer this season batting .337, 17 walks, no home runs this season, but again, the walks stands out the most as a 4-hole hitter. People don't like pitching directly to her.
I just got to say, John, I was hoping for a pitching duel today, and the more homework we do on both of these pitchers, you noted during the break there, 303, the official number now that Eggleseder's at.
That ball shot over to the left side, bobbled at third, throw across. Does beat the runner, what an arm by Stannerson. Across to Peterson, who made the great stretch at first.
What a stretch. Ouch. Watching that from up here, that's ultimate extension from the sophomore Peterson. That's just textbook infield softball work there between short and first. Just a terrific play all around.
Credit to Stannerson sticking with it.
And on the pitching side, too, with Miller. I mean, again, diving into the numbers there, as much as we've talked about Eggleseder, Riley Miller deserves some love here, too. I mean, she's north of 800 career strikeouts. Right now, came into the tournament third among 1A state tournament pitchers in strikeouts. So, I mean, this is not just David and Goliath, so to speak, to put it out there from an analogy standpoint. Miller is someone that deserves a lot of kudos, too. So we could be in for a pretty entertaining afternoon in the circle, I think, John.
She dukes it out with Lauren Kirby here, the senior batting .317. 15 walks to her name this season, 35 RBIs, takes strike 2.
Well, we've seen the pace, too, of Eggleseder, and Miller looks like a few more tricks up her sleeve, maybe a little more variety. Eggleseder's been powering through his batters early in this one.
Miller gets a swing and a miss, strike 3, her first K of the day. And just like that, don't blink, we got 2 down here in the top of 2.
Well, she had Kirby working on the inside, and she just stayed there and said, this is working. I'm going to keep getting her swinging on these. And if it's not broke, don't fix it. I mean, stayed on the corner and did a nice job there and got Kirby to sit down.
Addie Schmelzer now. Change up, gets the string pulled, but it does miss the zone for ball 1. Schmelzer this season batting .341 as a sophomore. 20 RBIs. Looking to get on base. Takes ball 2. We have had one base runner in this game, the leadoff hitter in Faith Dugan. Had a single out to the right side, got thrown out on her way to second. And now a 3-0 count here as Miller trying to find the zone against Schmelzer.
The more you watch these games, too, the more you realize just the working relationship between the pitchers and the catchers, and you're seeing it here with Riley Miller and Zoe Rasmussen. She gets 3-0. See, Rasmussen gives a little like, hey, we're good, and then fire one right back in there for a 3-1 count. That relationship, arguably the most important relationship you have on the field.
Miller blows one past Schmelzer for strike 2. The rise ball dancing up in the zone.
Got to sit back on those, right? If you swing too late in a rise ball, it's going to rise right past you, and great example of it there.
A swing and a miss, strike 3, back-to-back Ks, sits them down, 3 up, 3 down. We'll go to the home half of 2 with none left on base, no hits, no runs, here on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
At Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Whether you volunteer or hang with friends, play pickleball, read or follow trends. No matter what your retirement style, you deserve healthy eyes and a healthy smile. Some Medicare plans don't cover vision or dental. With Delta Dental, you can save on what's essential. Get coverage and take care of your health. It's peace of mind, so treat yourself. It's more affordable than you might think. Give us a call or visit this link.
And we're back here in the home half of 2. Briley Peterson steps into the box against Egelceder. That ball shot to the left side, fielded nicely by Vasky. Throw across in time. Kirby doing a good job to keep the foot planted on first for out number 1.
I've always enjoyed batters that don't mind swinging at the first pitch. And there are probably people out there that think I'm a fool for thinking that. But I just think so often pitchers are going for that opening strike, get ahead in the count. And so they're going to give you something you can work with. Obviously, Peterson didn't work with that properly, but I like a good first pitch hitter.
Standerson swings at the first pitch she sees. That's going to carry into foul territory. Nicely handled over there by Kirby. The breadbasket catch.
Well, and so far the first 2 batters have swung at the first 2 pitches, and I'm looking like the fool that maybe some fans are calling me out there because we got 2 outs.
2 pitches, 2 outs.
There you go.
Abby Wanzer going to try and change that. A little bit of momentum here, but Rachel Egelceder's just been dominant in the circle thus far. Misses the inside corner. We have the first count to reach the second pitch in this inning.
Now, Wanzer's someone who head coach Tom Peterson says is really the voice of this team.
Shoots that over to the right side. Wicked hop, going to bound away from Schmelzer, and there's the first base runner of the day for the Spartans.
Well, just like the hit we saw back in the first inning. Another weird hop at second. And it is just, strangely enough, second baseman was right where she needed to be. Schmelzer in front of it, and it ends up skipping over her shoulder. So sometimes you just got to pound it into the dirt and see what happens.
Just the wrong direction of grain there
yeah.
In the sand, and takes a nasty hop on Schmelzer. Zoe Rasmussen now steps in, takes strike 1. They're going to credit that with a single.
I'd agree. Hit hard. Hit hard.
It was a 1-hopper to Schmelzer. Just got up on her, and as we said, the wicked hop as the runner goes. A hit and run there for Rasmussen as she fouls it back to the netting. Again, great job by Rogers Sports Complex, the city of Fort Dodge, to make this complex what it is, what we see in front of us. This field pristine right now. The stands packed. It's a great environment for state softball.
Yeah, it's just a shrine for the sport. It really is.
Change up, runners going, throw down. And I don't think McKenna Hofer really gave 2 hoots about it because got 2 strikes with 2 outs.
Well, Wanzer got a great jump, and I think Hofer knew it. She said, well, I might as well just kind of limp wrist one down there just to at least see if I can. Maybe she overruns the base, get it there. But I'm with you. I didn't really get a great jump on it.
Fouled back. Zoe Rasmussen going to be followed by Skylar Rasmussen in this batting order today. Zoe keeps the AB alive with a 1-2 count. A 1-2 payoff here. Change up squeezed tightly by Hofer. And 1 hit leaves 1 left on base. No runs to show for Exira-EHK in the home half of 2. We hit the top of the 3rd next on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
Freedom Tire is proud to support the Iowa Girl through their sponsorship of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. With 6 locations around the metro, you're never far from getting you back or keeping you on the road. Our certified staff and state-of-the-art technology means you can take comfort knowing you've got the best work at the best prices. Give us a try at Freedom Tire, a proud supporter of the IGHSAU.
And we're back here at Farm Bureau Field. This game cruising right along to the top of the 3rd.
Yeah, who's going to blink first? That's the first thing you think about. Will it be Miller or will it be Eggleseder? Because so far they're just mowing down batters, and it's been very tighty in both circles on both sides of the field so far.
And the only 2 base runners we've seen have come off of gnarly hops as that ball's flared out into right, and having to backtrack a bit as Mulford out in right, but nicely handled out there by Jordan Mulford.
Well, I love the fundamentals too. First step back. It's always easier to run in at a ball than it is to backpedal. Mulford wasn't sure. It was kind of tailing away, a right-handed swing going opposite field, took a step back, evaluated, and caught it nice on the run. The great execution by the senior.
So 1 away here for Miller, brings up Kara Knipper. Change-up fools her. She takes strike 1.
Yeah, quite a different story than our opening game, John. We had 10 runs scored in the first 3 innings combined.
Don't say that yet. We're still not through the third.
Well said, John. Well said.
Not to speak that into existence, but I think a much different look on the top side of this 1A bracket as there's strike 2 to Knipper. And Miller waits patiently. I think she wants to work a little quicker. Delivers that slap back up the middle. Bobbled again, a little bit of a tough hop. And the throw just in time by a half step. It beats Knipper. Peterson, the cannon, to Peterson at first.
Part of me is wondering if Riley Peterson has some gymnastics background. I mean, that's the second time she's almost been full splits extension to reach out. And those inches matter in those plays. I mean, both of the times we've seen her stretch out like that, it's been an airtight play at first base. And there's a nice connection between short and first right now. That's just great work again between the Petersons, no surprise.
Peterson connection?
Something like that.
Seems to be working. Well,
it's cold-blooded right now.
2 down, Avery Brown. Defensive swing there draws the count to 1-1. And again, Miller just working efficiently. 2 strikeouts so far today, but letting her defense do the work too. That's in off the hands and fouled back.
Brown's someone who's come around 34 times to score this year. So someone in a game like this, you get her on and then you get her to work. Someone that's got some good base path speed, and we can see from that opening swing, maybe trying to slap one out here deep in the lineup.
Appreciate this quick pause from Dewey Hupke, the home plate umpire. Mutual respect between catchers and umpires. You know, foul ball off the noggin or off the body. One of them is typically taking a quick break, letting them gather and regather thoughts before getting going. So a 1-2 count on the way from Miller. She paints the outside corner. Strikeout number 3 on the day is the 3rd out of the 3rd inning. And Exira-EHK-Audubon will go back to the bats here in the home half of 3 next on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy.
At Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Something exciting is growing on Iowa farms these days. Innovation. From tractors that seed, weed, and harvest with data-driven precision to drones that scout or plant cover crops to protect soil and water. Even our animals live in smart homes with round-the-clock care. Technology keeps your food safer, water cleaner, and makes us more sustainable. Because what we do here benefits everyone here. Life on the farm makes everyone's life better.
Skyla Rasmussen steps into the box here. This season hasn't been an everyday starter. Strike 1 as an 8th grader, though, batting .097. Designated player. She's got 3 hits this season. Bright future ahead here for Skyla. She fouls that back, and once again, Eggleseder working ahead in the count.
I was thinking about it during the break, John. You're in a situation now where you got both pitchers are into it. They're into their groove. You can tell they got their best stuff going. Can either of these teams, it may not be an instant success, but can you start to take them deeper into counts? Can you take some pitches Can you foul some balls off? Can you start to make them work a little bit more? Because there's been nothing complicated about this so far. It's been easy. And the more simple it gets, the more difficult it's going to get to try to turn a page to something more offensive later. So right now, Rasmussen doing a good job trying to force Eggleseder into a little bit of a deeper count here, make her work a little bit more. Maybe if you start to get some sweat on her brow, you can start to eke a couple of balls out there, maybe get an error or two and start to put a crack in this thing.
Eggleseder delivers. That'll paint the inside corner for strike 3. Another K backwards this time for Rachel Eggleseder.
Here's the problem. If you're going to take pitches and the pitchers are going to throw strikes, my plan doesn't work very well. Say that's the give and take, right? If you're going to take pitches, you're going to be daring. You have to be brave sometimes to sit on those. You might take a few of those calls. It'll be curious to see if you see more bat swing or if the bats do rest on the shoulders a little bit here against Eggleseder.
That ball up in the zone for ball 1, and something to keep in mind coming into this inning, Eggleseder had only thrown 4 pitches for a ball. She's been ahead in the counts early and often. So again, she's already thrown 3 pitches outside the zone in this inning. Brings that one back in for strike 1 to Jordan Mulford in the 9 spot. Mulford this season, a senior, .328 batting average, 11 walks, 14 RBIs. Puts the bunt up, it's popped up. Coming in to make the catch. Wonderful play by McKenna Hofer. A little bit of a collision there between the batter and Vasky crashing down from third, but no less, no worse for the wear. 2 down. And again, Edco just keeps on working.
Well, I was just thinking too, John, if they can't take pitches, which, based off, to your point, how many strikes Eggleseder's throwing might not be an option, just start getting some bats on the ball. Let's get it out into play, preferably on the ground as opposed to in the air there, but just start to make the infield work. And again, we've seen there are some strange bounces out there to be found in the infield, so just try to get it out there and make the infield work and see what happens.
That ball chopped foul, 0-2 count here to Taryn Peterson back at the top of the lineup for the Spartans. And to your point, this is one of those spots, both sides will start seeing it, I think, a little bit more as this game progresses, but more bunts attempted, more trying to get those infield singles, make the defense actually earn the outs a little bit more than what they've had to do so far. Not saying we haven't seen some great plays on defense so far, but those bunts can come into a big effect as that one's fouled back to the netting, and Peterson keeps the at-bat alive.
Yeah, think mid-2000s Minnesota Twins small ball. As a Minnesotan, now Iowa transplant, think of some of those days. Luis Rivas, guy was lightning quick, and they manufactured runs. And against pitching like this, manufacturing might be the term that comes to mind.
Change up, chopped to short. On the hop and thrown across. Dugan to Kirby. The 6-3 put out. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Edco, and they'll go back to the dish here at the top of the 4th on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy.
Yeah, it's a trip when you hit the road. And when you know when you've arrived. It's a trip when you get everything you want. The burger and the fries, the creek and the crick, the city and the countryside. It's a trip when you're where you're meant to be. In this moment, in this bathroom mirror, looking like $1 million. And yeah, it's a trip when it goes by fast. Des Moines. It's a trip. Make it yours.
Excelling in athletics takes teamwork, dedication, and a commitment to excellence. These are the same qualities that help our pig farmers and our communities thrive. The Iowa Pork Producers Association is proud to support statewide high school athletics and the student athletes who make us all proud. Visit iowapork.org/wecare to meet the people behind the pork and hear about our winning approach to caring for our pigs, the environment, and our communities.
Well, we've been singing the praises of Rachel Eggleseder, but we also need to sing the praises of Riley Miller. Again, has gone 3 straight innings, 1, 2, 3. 3 strikeouts here to speak of, and now we circle back to the top of the 4th for this Vikings lineup.
Yeah, the Indian Hills commit has been just commanding so far. It's been different types of pitching, right? More powerhouse deliverance from Eggleseder. This has been a little more placement and variety from Miller, but both have been equally impressive. I do think last inning for Exira-EHK-Audubon felt like they started to get the bat on the ball a little bit more, so let's see if Edgeco can follow up here and maybe put a few more balls in play.
That ball fouled back and out of play. Quickly an 0-2 count here.
Back to the top of the order, too, with Dugan. Just want to get this runner on base and see what she can do.
Lays off that, a 1-2 count.
3 stolen bases on the year for Dugan. And
that ball flared out. That's going to get out of play.
you talk about manufacturing those runs. Get Dugan on any way you can. And then once she's on, hit and runs, bunts, maybe get a pass ball in there, although the way these two are pitching, wouldn't count on it.
Dugan again fouls one off. A good fight here for the leadoff hitter. Dugan this season, .525 batting average, 40 RBIs. She has 4 home runs. Talk about power in the leadoff spot. She's dangerous.
Well, and tactical batting, too. You can see it here in this at-bat. Anything near the zone, 1-2, she's getting a piece of it.
Laces that out into left. Sat back on the changeup, rounds first. It's a stand-up single there for Dugan.
Well, probably the first mistake for Miller. That one just hung up in the zone a little bit on her, and you got to give Dugan credit. We were just touching on that whole at-bat. Probably a few pitches that Miller liked that she fouled off. That one maybe was the strikeout pitch, didn't get it. Next one wasn't the strikeout pitch, didn't get it. And all of a sudden, one doesn't go where she wants it to. Dugan does a fabulous job, sits back on it, and drives it out to left.
Bunt being shown, a little small ball here. The throw down to first, fielded nicely by Stannerson at third. Good coverage by Nelson, but that does move the runner into scoring position as Dugan sits now in a threatening position off the bump by Ava Hofer.
Well, now you just got one out, so still more to work with here. What can you execute? Maybe you're not thinking small ball, though, considering you've got Eggle-Cedar at the plate, who's got a little pop in her bat. Right where you want to be. Heart of your order, runner in scoring position.
.463 batting average, and she ropes that out into straightaway center. It's shallow enough. They're going to send Dugan home. The throw coming to the plate. It sails to the backstop, and there's our first run of the game. Faith Dugan comes in on the single by Eggle-Cedar.
Not sure if that was a Rawlings bat or if it was a sand wedge, John. She dug that one out of the dirt. What an impressive display of batting that was. Just touched it out. It just placed it out right where there wasn't anybody. Couldn't have put it more in the middle of center field, short, and second base. It's a terrific piece of hitting from Eggle-Cedar, and we finally got the run that we were looking for, and now we'll see how Miller handles the heat here.
Well, we get the IMT insurance substitution here with the courtesy runner for the pitcher. Changes in today's game are brought to you by IMT Insurance. Learn how you can be worry-free with IMT at imtins.com. Josie Deers, the freshman, has 13 stolen bases. She takes the spot of Eggle-Cedar at first. And see if this Edco Vikings squad can strike again here in the top of the fourth.
I was interested to see if they wouldn't maybe try to bunt again, just to advance the runner, especially with putting a little more base path speed on there at first with the sub. But looks like Hofer's going to swing away. And someone that's had a good year. And again, when you're in the middle of the order like this, you maybe think twice about laying down the bunt because you got some pop down there that you want to see if you can't utilize. And it worked on the last at bat with Eggle-Cedar.
She was behind that one is McKenna Hofer. Miller coming right back and not backing down. Again, 2 pitches that, again, she was probably happier with how that one was placed. Again, it's just a good piece of hitting. It's good on good. Someone's got to win it there.
Yeah, I'm not even sure she'd look back at that pitch and maybe say she wouldn't throw it again. It was just, those are a terrific pitcher. Well, another terrific pitcher because it was Eggle-Cedar, but a terrific batter too. She got the better of the duel, and it was a good pitch, but a better piece of hitting.
Ball's up and in around the chin. Brings it to a 1-2 count for McKenna Hofer. Hofer, the catcher, a senior here, batting .390. Does have 24 RBIs and missing the zone ever so slightly. Brings it to a 2-2 count.
Oh, boy, you could tell Miller was doing almost like her strikeout walk. She knows that there it is, I'm getting it back now, and she kind of caught herself. Really?
2-2 on the way, comes right back, attacks, and gets the swing from Hofer to fan at it. Out number 2.
Boy, a lot of the strikeout pitches today so far have been on that inside corner. It almost feels like when she gets batters up against the wall, she goes, I'm bringing it inside, perfectly placed. Nothing you can do with a pitch like that, but again, close enough where you'd hard to let it go by, too.
Another swing and a miss from Lauren Kirby, the first baseman for the Vikings. Struck out in her first plate appearance. That's up in the zone, a 1-1 count. You can hear the life of the dugout from that Edgewood-Colesburg Vikings dugout to the first base side.
Yeah, that dugout energy is the lifeblood of softball, and it's all game long, and it oftentimes doesn't matter the score. It's such a peppy group. They're always into it. Both dugouts are always so invested in the game, and it's such an up-tempo sport to take in, and that dugout energy only helps the players on the field. It also gets your fan bases into it, too, sitting behind you in the stands.
The 2-1. That's flared out into center. Having to come in and maybe backtrack just a bit was Larson, but does make the corral for out number 3. A strikeout in that inning is to no avail as 2 hits bring across 1 run, 1 left on base for the Edgewood-Colesburg Vikings here in the top of the 4th. Exira-EHK-Audubon trying to answer in the home half next on the Girls Union Network.
At MidAmerican Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. MidAmerican Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Looks like another perfect day to get out there and enjoy the summer.
Forward before she gets in the car. It's easy to choose.
Iowa State Fair, August 13th through the 23rd.
Well, in case you want some rinse and repeat, we missed the first pitch, but surprise, surprise, it's a strike out of the hand of Egelceder. An 0-1 count here to Anna Larson, who struck out back in the first.
Well, it does feel like the Vikings just delivered the blueprint for what the offense in this game might look like, right? You get a runner on, you advance the runner, and then you need to have somebody to swing the bat. Egelceder did it in that inning now. We'll see if Exira-EHK-Audubon can take some of what they just saw Edgewood-Colesburg do and try to deliver that on their own side now with the offensive bats going. So it's going to be a nip-and-tuck game, it feels like, with the pitchers going the way they are.
And ring them up. Anna Larson will grab a seat. Another K, this one a backwards fashion for Egelceder.
Just cruising along, and you see the way the body language is such a telling sign when pitchers really got it going. And even Miller did a good job after giving up that run. She settled right back in, got a K, got out of the inning. So they're both really cooking right now, for sure.
That one missing well outside. Should mention the long ball did come into play in their first in the first game between these two teams. Addie Schmelzer had the lone home run in that game. Again, it was a battle as that one's dribbled back to Egelceder. No rush, no complaints. Throws over. Plenty of time for out number 2.
Yeah, feels like we're a long way from a long ball at this point in this game. Egelceder commanding, hitting her spots, working ahead in the count. It's been tricky for the Spartans to even get the ball out of the infield to this point. But things could change in a hurry, but it feels like they're going to need to take that first step towards at least putting the ball in play a little more.
And should correct myself, Schmelzer had 2 home runs in that game. Wind was blowing out, though, from the south on Monday. It was a hot day. Winds have shifted a little bit coming in on us, but I think they've died down. It's a gorgeous day here in Fort Dodge.
What was it, 33 home runs across all the classes on Monday, and then the next day was it 8?
Yes, that's correct.
That's how much difference the wind can make, I suppose.
Those first-round matchups. Things tighten up a little bit after you get through those first-round games, too. 1-1 count. That one nubbed. Trying to find the 5-6 hole there. And that's just enough for an infield single from Briley Peterson. And she's on with 2 down.
Get it in play. And that's going to be the mantra of the day, I think, right now, is just get it and play. And that's a pretty well-hit ball. He put in a tough spot, backhand play for the shortstop, Dugan, and even had she fielded that cleanly, would have been a pretty impressive throw back against the grain to try to get it there. So good placement on that hit by Peterson.
Peterson with a nice little jump off first. The heater stays up in the zone to Lucy Stannerson. Popped out to first in foul territory in her first plate appearance of the day. The 1-0. Fouled back to the screen in front of us.
A little trickier spot for the Spartans than what the Vikings had, where they had some outs to work with when they got that runner to first back in the top of this inning. Can't really try to bunt this one across now. The throw down to one's going to end the inning, so you're going to have to swing away here with Stannerson at the plate.
1-1. Sanderson swings and misses. Again, just a little bit behind it as Egelseeder continues to mix up the pitches.
Yeah, it's been tricky all afternoon long. As soon as you get the bat speed around and you start to catch up to the fastball, string gets pulled and the bat's on your shoulder before the ball even gets to the plate.
1-2 chop foul. Stannerson keeps the at-bat alive. Should mention an update from the 5A field. Southeast Polk eliminates Valley 12-10. A high-scoring affair that seemed to be a marathon of a game over there in the 5A field behind us.
No doubt. Don't think we'll get there in this one with the way these pitchers are hurling right now.
Stannerson tags it, but it's well placed right to Brown, planted firmly in center. Out number 3. 1 hit, 1 left on base. No runs, so 1-0 game going to the top of the 5th.
Excuse me, man. You dropped this.
Exira-EHK-Audubon takes the field once again. Edco will step into the batter's box. Addie Schmelzer, we were just talking about her, had 2 home runs in the first meeting between these two teams, looking for her first hit on this day. Struck out after inducing a full count back in the second. Schmelzer offers at the first, fouls it back.
Well, now for Edgeco, you're sitting here thinking, all right, we put a dent in Miller. She's not invincible. Can you turn a simple 1-run inning? Can you start to get the barrel of the bat on the ball a little bit more? You saw that a little bit too for Exira-EHK-Audubon in that last inning too, where yes, no runs, but they get a good single. The last out of the inning was a line shot to center, right at the center fielder. So the bat speed starting to catch up a little bit with these pitchers now. Which team can take that next step and start to consistently put the bat on the ball?
Takes ball 1 there, 1-2 count. Also catching up with Andy Pollock, who had the Edco game early on this week and talked about how great their fans have been and just how they've turned Fort Dodge into a home away from home as that misses on the inside part of the plate. But again, speaks to what the environment can be like here at state softball, just how special it is. And, you know, the communities of Edgewood-Colesburg taking over the city of Fort Dodge this week.
Oh, and we had the Fort Dodge St. Edmund game before this, and this Vikings crowd is rivaling that, and much simpler drive for the Fort Dodge natives than Edgewood, 2.5 hours west of here. So it is really incredible when you see the pilgrimage that these fans make.
And that ball popped up. Can of corn for Larson, out number 1. Well, and you look at population between Edgewood and Colesburg, granted, That's within the city population. 907 for Edgewood, 380 for Colesburg. About 3,000 residents total in the combined school district. So a 1A class school, but I feel like the whole town probably making their way out here.
That's the charm when I think about 1A tournaments. And I remember talking about this at state soccer as well. I was able to do the state 1A final for that tournament, and Denver state champions. Congratulations to them. But it does feel like you're not sure the town's shut down when these things go on, but they're definitely less busy because so many people make the trips out. Yep. My wife's a Valley grad, but you'd argue a state title for Edgewood-Colesburg might mean a little bit more to the community than it would mean for Valley for the city of West Des Moines to win the state title, right?
Absolutely.
There's a little more meaning behind those things when you get to the smaller towns, and that's always been the charm to me of the 1A side of every state tournament, whether it's boys or girls. There's that much more of an investment. A bigger majority of the town's going to be all in for this, and you're seeing that here at the state tournament for both of these teams and really for most of the 1A schools, John.
Chloe Everett has worked this to a 3-1 count. You're exactly right, Ben. Just the 5th trip to state for Edgewood-Colesburg. And she'll have a 1-out walk. The free pass to first brings up Kara Knipper. And again, runners on base, few and far between. It's what can you do once they're there?
Well, and again, this long battle that's starting to play out here between how do you wear these pitchers down. We've really seen, maybe if you count that those pitches as a walk, is one mistake. The other mistake, the leadoff hit that led to the run. I don't even know if, like we talked about, if I'd count the pitch to Eggleseder that led to the RBI, I'm not sure we'd call that a mistake. So maybe 2 blemishes right now on the day here for Miller, and the Vikings need to make her pay for it because she might not give you many more.
Throw down as that second base gets stolen, gets out into center field, heads up running by Chloe Everett. And she stands at second.
And again, we're seeing the Vikings and their ability here with head coach Taylor Huber to start to deliver little decisions, little points of execution that could turn into runs. It's going to be hard to score, and those things like that, stolen bases, they're going to matter.
They're calling a dead ball as that was off the foot of Knipper. That one will sting a bit. Going to take a moment here really quick. Thanks again to the Iowa Farm Bureau for presenting the 2026 Girls State Softball Tournament as sole title sponsor of Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. Farm Bureau recognizes athletic and academic achievement on the field and in the classroom, helping to nurture Iowa's future leaders. So a quick chop off the foot of Knipper. It was a dead ball, so no play at first. Still remains 1 out. 2 strikes to Knipper here as Miller, trying to calm things down, has thrown quite a few more pitches in this inning so far, Ben, compared to her last couple.
Yeah, it's such a war of attrition, this one. And it's just what are the little things you can do to even slightly make Miller or Eggleseder more uncomfortable? And it's probably not going to be a light switch moment. Inning by inning, pitch by pitch, swing by swing, what can you be doing? And it looks like the Vikings a little bit on the edge right now.
And Miller will sit down Knipper with the swing and a miss. Out number 2. Again, 1 duck sits on the pond in scoring position. Avery Brown.
That's a huge out. It's a huge out for Miller to get because, again, now, you saw the hit and run with Knipper before she ended up striking out there. They were a ball off the toe away from getting that runner to third. And now, again, you get up against the wall more here where you don't have as many options for advancing that runner from second to third because you're up to 2 outs now. It's a huge out for Miller to get in a big strikeout in a clutch moment. That's just terrific pitching.
Calissa Reamer, the pinch hitter here, takes ball 1, batting .312 this season. Substitutions brought to you by IMT Insurance. Want to be worry-free? Visit imtins.com. Swing and a miss on the inside part of the plate. Nice pitch by Miller there, challenging it on the hands.
Yeah, good rise ball coming up in on the hands and looks tasty to swing at, but boy, there's not a whole lot you can do with that, even if batter would have been able to get a stick on it.
Another swing and a miss, and right now she's got Reamer guessing.
Yeah, that couldn't have been more stark different looks. inside and high and then outside and away. And you're exactly right, John. Guessing is the word that came to mind with a couple of those swings from the freshman.
Just missing on the outer half of the plate. Ball 2.
2-2 count. Strikeout pitch has been inside. Feels like we might be coming here from Miller.
Reimer fouls it off. Want to make sure I get her pronunciation right. Calissa Reimer fouls it off. Keeps fighting there with the 2-2 count.
In on the hands. Just get a piece of it.
Easier said than done.
Well, and it's what we saw Dugan do when she got that single last inning.
A swing and a miss, back-to-back Ks. That will make sure no damage is done as one walk led to one left on base. No runs, no hits in the 5th. The Spartans need an answer here in the home half. Next on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
Life's buzzing with energy. From the delightfully routine, to the novel and exciting, to the truly uncharted. With all that life brings, it's easy to lose track of what powers all those moments, our health. At Mercy One, our caring doctors focus on just that, powering health, from the everyday to the extraordinary. So you're ready for what life brings next. Find care at mercyone.org/health-powers-life.
Something exciting is growing on Iowa farms these days. Innovation. From tractors that seed, weed, and harvest with data-driven precision to drones that scout or plant cover crops to protect soil and water. Even our animals live in smart homes with round-the-clock care. Technology keeps your food safer, water cleaner, and makes us more sustainable. Because what we do here benefits everyone here. Life on the farm makes everyone's life better.
Avery Brown re-enters. Again, all substitutions, pitching changes in today's game brought to you by IMT Insurance. Learn how you can be worry-free with IMT at imtins.com. So we hit the home half of 5. 3 at-bats left in this game for the Spartans to try and cut this lead. It's 1-0 right now, and a pitcher's duel to say the least.
I think if I'm coach of the Spartans, Tom Peterson, this is who I want at the plate. One of my 2 players that's been able to hit Eggleseder today. A single from Wanzer back in the 2nd. Let's see if she can get another one here, and then we'll see if the Spartans can do what really only we've seen one time, a manufacturing a run, and that was what the Vikings were able to do. It's going to be about how you run the bases today, and if you can get some ducks on the pond, which has been a rarity so far in this softball game.
Eggleseder misses the 0-1 up high in the zone, a 1-1 count here. Abby Wanzer, 1 for 1 today. The sharp hit ball over to the right side. Laces another one. This one going to find the gap out in right as well. She'll round first, and it's a single to lead things off, and a base runner aboard, Abby Wanzer.
On both times, against the grain, up the middle. Batters against pitchers like this, you may not be, and again, I haven't seen Wanzer play a lot, but she might be someone that likes going that direction, but you're probably not going to be able to hit on your own terms a lot. So you got to take what the pitcher's giving you, and that means to stepping across like that, driving it the opposite way. Great stuff from Wanzer again.
Zoe Rasmussen shows bunt, tag applied, and in time. What a throwdown from McKenna Hofer, and a great tag by Schmelzer.
I'm not sure he could have thrown it any better. And I thought Wanzer was there. She got a great jump on it. It's funny, we saw Hofer throw that one kind of still from the squat position a couple innings ago. She still almost got it to second on that throw, but got a much better jump on that. She was ready. She got poised, got her hips square too, and then just fired it down there. That's a marvelous play from Hofer. And a good tag as well, by the way, from short. Don't forget about Dugan, who had to go spin around and make the tag behind her because the throw was maybe a little short of where Dugan wanted it. So between the two of them, that's tremendous stuff.
Defense can win you a championship, as can pitching, but pitching is only as good as the defense behind them some days too, because it's inevitable. Teams are going to connect with the ball, but it's how your team picks you up, and we see that from the catcher of all people, McKenna Hofer, who just beautiful dart down to second to get Wanzer there at second, but now a spot where Eggleseder maybe needs to be tread lightly with the 3-1 count, doesn't want to put another runner on base.
Well, in a game like this where, look, this is a game that feasibly could end 1-0, a play like that could be one you look back on and say this changed the game for us, because Wanzer, as we just saw, good base path speed. She's on, no outs, something that Exira-EHK-Audubon has not had many looks like that, where they've had runners on with one out or no outs.
Chop to Egelceder, out number 2. And again, it goes back to, it looked like Wanzer wanted Rasmussen to get a bunt down there. Unable to execute at the plate leads to an out on the other side of things. It's a very different game right now if that bunt is put in the dirt and you get a runner sitting firmly at second. But instead, that bases are empty with 2 outs now.
It just speaks to the importance of every girl's got a job on every play. And yes, Wanzer's got to get the jump, and it looked like she got a pretty decent jump on it, but then on the other side of it, if that batter doesn't get the bunt down, you wind up losing that base runner. And so there's so much in sync that has to happen with a hit and run like that, laying down a bunt, and unfortunately for the Spartans and their fans, it just didn't quite execute it the way they needed it to.
Swing and a miss for strike 2 from Skyla Rasmussen. Struck out looking back in the 3rd. Again, just an 0.97 batting average for the 8th grader. Lays off the high heater. Egelceder has been working efficiently today, to say the least. Works ahead in a lot of counts, looking back across it. I think she's only gotten behind. That last at bat was the first time.
That's the difference right now. That's the difference. The Vikings have been able to make life just a little bit uncomfortable.
And wouldn't you know it, right on cue, strikeout number 5 on the day for Egelceder, and it stays a 1-0 game going to the top of the 6th next on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
SWIC is a community. Southwestern Community College is a place in rural southwest Iowa where students from across the world come to be a part of a tight-knit family, Spartan Nation, where they study, train, grow, thrive, and are called by name, not by number. At SWIC, we are one.
We're back here for the top of the 6th, and again, not a lot of runs to show. Haven't been a lot of base runners either, but one hit here or there has made the difference for this Vikings team.
Well, and I'm looking at this inning now, John, and yes, you've got your thoroughbred. Egelceder is just humming right now. But anything can happen for a team to score 1 run. The littlest thing now can change the whole scope of this game. Even just one more run for the Vikings would do in this inning to give Egelceder just a smidgen of breathing room. This is a big opportunity here for the Vikings to add just an extra gasp of air for their thoroughbred pitcher, and that could be the biggest difference. And then all of a sudden, you give a little more room for air, a little more room for maybe 1 or 2 pitches not going where they need to go. Key opportunity here, I think, for this Vikings team to try to make a big difference and maybe seal this one before it gets too sticky in the late innings.
Of course, this was the spot in the order where 2 innings ago the 1 run came from. It started with a leadoff single from Faith Dugan out into left. She takes ball 2 up in the zone. 2-1 count. She came around to score on the RBI single from Egelceder. 2-1 on the way for Miller. That's up and away. A 3-1 count. And I think if you're Faith Dugan here, you can afford to be a little bit picky.
She was picky in that last at bat that led to a single. She waited for the right pitch before she took a hack at it. See if she does it again.
Does she offer at it? They say she lays off. They'll check down. The check down says she did not go around. I tend to agree. And there's a walk for Dugan.
Yeah, right call down the line there. Didn't break the wrist, kept it back. That's just another terrific at bat. And here again, it's not a lot. It's nothing all that flashy, but once more, no outs, runner on first. Have not been able to say that one time about the Spartans, where the Vikings have done that on 2 or 3 occasions. It's the slightest of margins, but it's been enough to get them a lead. And they're in a similar situation here where Dugan's on first. They've got Hofer, who sacrificed them along the last time, and then they'll get their slugger Eggleseder up. So it's a great opportunity here. Another one of those key junctures for the pitcher Miller to try to skirt through. We'll see if she can navigate it correctly this time, because last time they were here, the game went to 1-0.
And I think that's why that was that circle visit from Tom Peterson, too, just to address, hey, here's what we should expect as bunt gets shown. Pull back, throw down, plenty of time, but sliding in underneath the tag. Wonderful slide by Faith Dugan. She stands up at second, now in scoring position.
Eerily similar play to when Wanzer was thrown out last inning. A little more oomph on the throw, I thought, on the throw from Hofer compared to the throw from Rasmussen there, and it came down to the tag. You could see the shortstop Peterson had to catch it high, bring it across. Shortstop Dugan was able to catch it lower and bring it down to make the tag on that throw-out we saw a half inning ago. Again, this is a game. The story of this game is going to be just fractional differences when you've got two pitchers going at it like this, and it's those little details that might lead to who's going on and who's going home.
A 1-1 count here to Ava Hofer, who's shown bunt twice. Expect it here as well. She pulls it back as that stays up in the zone. She had the sacrifice bunt that moved Dugan over to second back in the fourth, which eventually led to the Eggleseder single up the gut and the lone run of this game. So going back to the well, look for Stannerson to crash here. No one's covering third, and a free base for Faith Dugan.
I was just thinking, John, as we were lining up for that pitch, I went, shortstop Peterson is eons away from the bag. If that bunt gets down, it's an easy third base run. Even smarter work from the base runner Dugan there. I'm just going to take this one myself. Again, these little decisions, and all of a sudden, a great opportunity to do what we were talking about, adding insurance.
Ava Hofer fights it off to keep it a 2-2 count. Now Miller trying to work out of a jam here with no outs. And it's the heart of this lineup right now for Edgewood-Colesburg that's looking to inflict some more damage. Hofer fouls it back one more time.
Well, now if you're Miller, you got to pretend that the person at third's not even there. Take care of the batter. Your third baseman, your first baseman have anything on the ground, take care of the batter. You got to pretend that player on third's not even there. It's you and the batter right now, period.
Corners are in for the Spartans. Hofer pops it up. That's going to be out into center field. We're going to get a play at the plate. Throw coming home. It's there. The slide in safe by Dugan is a beauty. It's a 2-0 game for the Vikings.
Now, just little dink and dunks, right, John? Just finding a way to carve out a run. And that, I mean, think about how many different things had to happen to make that play happen. You got the stolen base, the throw from the catcher that was just a fraction behind, the error, tactical error, mind you, from the Spartans to leave that bag open, and then the presence of mind from Dugan to take that base, and then a great fly ball and a great finish. Good jump, too, from Dugan. Easy to leave too early sometimes on those because that wasn't that deep of a fly. There was a play at the plate there, so really good detail work, I thought, all around from Exira-EHK-Audubon there, or pardon me, from Edgewood-Colesburg to get that done.
Larson made the catch out in center and fired a cannon home, and Zoe Rasmussen just couldn't quite get that tag down in time. Dugan flashed the speed as it's a 2-1 count here to Rachel Eggleseder. Eggleseder looking to get a rally resparked. Chops one down the third baseline. It drifts just foul. 2-2 count here. Fired a single back up the middle with the RBI. That is the deciding run at this point in this game, but I would not count the Spartans out. They put up 3 against Edgewood-Colesburg in game number 1 back on Monday.
I want to just go back to Hofer, too, for a second. Let this pitch come in. Hofer bunting for a lot of that at bat, then fouls a few out. I mean, there was a lot of different things she was having to think through. All of a sudden, you get into a 2-2 count, bunts off. Now I'm thinking, get the ball in the air to the outfield. Like, great work from Hofer to stay in it there and to sort out the situation really well. By the way, that at-bat started, runners on second. All of a sudden, the scene totally changes when Dugan goes to third and Hofer delivers. This is great hitting.
Lays off, ball 4 down in the zone. Another free base puts Eggleseder aboard. And actually, The at-bat for Hofer started with Dugan at first. Goes for the bunt, pulls back. Dugan steals second, takes third on the free advancement, and then the sac fly. So again, base running so critical, such an important part of this game, and you see why right there as we get the substitution with the courtesy runner and Josie Deers stepping back on first as Eggleseder gets that courtesy. And now it's Hofer. McKenna, this time looking for her first hit on the day, takes ball one up in the zone.
Well, to your point on that, John, and great catch, because you're right, that just adds another element to that at bat. And we touched on it on half inning ago for Exira-EHK-Audubon. That bunt doesn't get laid down. Like, there has to be connection between everything that's going on for it to work, and that whole display was a perfect example of everybody being on the same page, knowing the situation, and then executing it. It's the only reason that run gets in for the Vikings.
So a 2-1 count here. Hofer bloops it out into right. It drops in, and that's going to get a little bit further out as Deers rounds second, heading for third, slides in safely. And then McKenna Hofer will take second on the bloop single, turn into a double on the throw.
Games can just turn into mudslides sometime. It's a pebble, a little drip, and then all of a sudden the boat gets rocky, and then things are just coming downhill on you, and that's exactly what you're seeing here now. Miller, for the first time, visually flustered in this game. She hasn't been to this point. Even when he had the runner on, one out earlier in this inning, you saw the moxie, the composure. You're looking at her now. You're starting to see the shoulders drooping a little bit more. You're going to see probably Audubon try to calm things down here now, because it feels like this game might be won or lost right here. You keep this at 2, all of a sudden you got a ton of momentum going back into the dugout, and you get the bats going. If this gets to 4, look out.
Lauren Kirby up. Fouls one back, choking up heavily. Looking to do something with just an abbreviated swing here. Still looking for her first hit of the day. Flew out to center in the 4th for out number 3 back then. So 2 sit in scoring position.
No quick at bats in this inning either. Every batter has taken a few, fouled off a few, and they're making Miller show a lot of what she's got up her sleeve too. And the bats are starting to come around here. The Vikings are finding a great piece of hitting there from McKenna Hofer. It's been interesting to see how many have gone opposite field today too.
Kirby will take ball 1 inside. To that point, Faith Dugan drew it to a 4-1 count for the walk. A 2-2 count leads to a sac fly, but there are a handful of foul balls in that one from Hofer. As the 1-1 on the way, Kirby will lay off that outside as well. Eggleseder worked it full before drawing the walk. And then McKenna Hofer draws it to a 2-1 count before that little loop single out into right. No extra base hits today. Kirby fouls that back to the netting. And a 2-2 count now. Addie Schmelzer, the big bat in that first meeting, set in the on-deck circle right now, looking for her opportunity one way or the other here. Sure, she'd love to see Lauren Kirby take care of business first. That's popped up, drifting back. That's going to get out of play over at that Edco side of the field. The fans in the... What color would you call their state shirts there? Is that a hot salmon?
It does feel like maybe it almost feels a little more orange than it's almost like a highlighter.
Yeah.
It's almost like an orange highlighter. But there is a slight salmon hue, I'd say, John. I'd agree.
2-2 count now to Kirby. Kirby going to flare that out into right. Making the catch is Mulford, and runner coming home from third. Heads up running by Deers. Plates another. It's a 3-0 game now for the Vikings.
Let's unpack this, John, because, again, this has been so much about the little miniature decisions that have been happening in this game. At third base there, the runner, Josie Deers, she was off the bag. She thought that was going to get down. So when that ball was caught, she was actually making her way back towards third. The decision from right field to throw that into second, not to the cutoff. Smart awareness by Deers. She takes
that ball hit hard. Schmelzer going back. It's to the fence. One more run will come in for the Vikings. Schmelzer, a stand-up RBI double, and more damage done. Edgewood-Colesburg can smell a trip to the title game.
Yeah, it's a cave-in now, John. You can tell that Miller's rattled. It's been a slow chipping away at her all game long, pitch by pitch, at bat by at bat, and now the floodgates have opened. This Vikings team, they've sharpened their axes and they're swinging the bats in a big way. This has been an impressive inning and an exercise in patience, too. It's an impressive inning.
That ball shot up the middle. Chloe Everett, that's going to bring another play at the plate to throw home. Not in time. Schmelzer slides in safe. A 4-run sixth has it a 5-0 game.
Kind of amazed we haven't had a mound meeting yet in this. Like, this has happened so fast. And the other thing that's happened now, we've talked all inning about the length of the at-bats. With Miller kind of phased right now, those are two first pitch knocks. The one off the wall from Schmelzer and then that follow-up at the middle. We're going to get that mound meeting now, but it almost feels a couple of swings too late because that was such a key situation that now has gone awry on them, and you can just feel the momentum is totally in the camp for the Vikings, and they're grooving. They feel it. The bats are alive. Miller looks a little shaky, and they're pouncing. It's been a really impressive display of patience and execution by this Vikings team that's led to this moment because they had to be patient. They didn't push it. They didn't rush it, and now they're reaping the rewards for really good execution. That's the thing that's standing out right now.
And it happened so quick, we didn't even get the read on Addie Schmelzer's extra base hit. Extra base hits in today's game brought to you by Channel Seeds, the enhanced Channel Seed brand here to help farmers like you up your game and rise to the challenge. Learn more at channel.com/rise. And as that played out, the wild pitch will move Chloe Everett, I believe, who has a courtesy runner, up to second base.
Starting to wonder if we were going to get a Channel Seeds extra base hit with the way this game was chugging along. And boy, the things have really come apart at the seams here quickly in what was such a tightly contested game. And look, there's still time for this Spartans team to try to make a dent in this, but this feels like a serious exclamation point the Vikings have put on this game to this point.
Kara Knipper up with a 1-1 count, still looking for her first hit of this game as well. A swing and a miss, strike two. Miller trying to just get out of this inning. Already been hit around on here. Again, Spartans still have two at-bats. It's not unfathomable that they can't claw back into it as that's flared over to Nelson. She'll corral it, but not before. 4 runs cross the dish here in the 6th. A handful of hits leave a runner on base. It's a 5-0 game going the Vikings' way on the Girls Union Network. Spartans looking for a rebuttal in the home half next.
Ready? Let's go. Mom, over here.
Yeah, this kind of thing can happen when you're hiking, but no worries, Mom. I can prescribe something to soothe the itch.
Unity Point Health looks at your family's health from your point of view, offering same-day appointments with expertise focused on what matters most to you. Unity Point Health. Expert care focused on you.
Well, if the comeback's going to start for the Spartans, it's got to probably happen here with the 9-hole hitter in Jordan Mulford. Otherwise, it's going to circle back to the top, but certainly the right part of the lineup to be in here for Exira-EHK-Audubon and the Spartans. Though no one's really touched Egelceder today outside of, I think we have 2 hits on the day against her.
Yeah, you got Mulford due up, Peterson, Larson, and it has to start now. I don't even know if you need to necessarily, a run would help, but you have to do something to get Egelceder off of her rhythm. If she cruises through this inning, it feels like too steep of a mountain to climb in the final bottom of the 7th to get it done. So you need to plant the seed of doubt here, at least. Plant the seed of doubt now, or this one might be over.
Egelceder induces a swing and a miss from Mulford for strike 2. Let's just talk about this. This Edco team walks in, the 8th seed against Exira-EHK, stuns them in game 1, stuns Southeast Warren game 2, and now they're just 6 outs away from punching their ticket to the championship game as the 8th seed.
It's a team that probably had a chip on their shoulder. They come in as an 8th seed, and teams like that can be dangerous because every win they gain, they're like, well, nobody thought we were going to do that. And they do it again, and they say, well, nobody probably thought we were going to do that. And they're playing like a team that's got no tomorrow. And look at this.
Another strikeout on the day for Eggle-Cedar. She is now up to 8 on the day. Make that 7. I apologize. My math a hair off.
That's my bad. I should have had you covered on that one, John.
First out, but another strikeout.
Feels like 8. Feels like 10. She's been just blowing them by people.
One every inning today, and that brings up Taryn Peterson, the shortstop. Flew out to second in her first plate appearance, a ground out to short. Back in the third as well. Trying to find a trip aboard. Peterson knuckles that down to third. Throw over. Plenty of time for Vasky. The 5-3 put out. We're out number 2.
The rare moments that Spartans have been able to get a bat on the ball, it's been so sharp on the infield. It hasn't been much outside of the infield, but look, things can happen, and that could be something that plants a seed of doubt. Somebody fires one over first base. All of a sudden, you might rock a little bit. Got to give the infield credit. They've been really solid, too, when they've needed to be. Hasn't been a lot, but anything can shift your momentum. Even if it's not something that you, per se, do as a pitcher, if things start to unravel, you might get frustrated. Like, you got to come up with that ball. You got to come up with that ball, right? And that hasn't happened when they've needed to back up their pitcher. Not that a lot's been hit hard, but it's been a really tour de force performance from everybody out there for the Vikings.
That one's going to miss low and away. To that point, Eggle-Cedar's induced just 5 ground balls. They've been handled nicely today. Otherwise, she's got the 7 Ks. That one's backed or fouled back and out of play.
It just feels like a lot of what we've seen is, I just don't think the Spartans can catch up. They've been behind a lot. When the heat comes, they haven't been able to get their bats around much. And a lot in on the hands, a lot late, a lot of foul balls. Just, it's been tough.
That ball chopped once again. Vasky handles the hop. And another throw across. Plenty of time. 1, 2, 3. Down go the Spartans. We head to the top of 7. Vikings going to try and stretch that lead one more time before we finish this one up. Stay with us here on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
At Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Well, we're back here at Farm Bureau Field in Fort Dodge at the Rogers Sports Complex, and John Schaefer alongside Ben Gislason. It's been an absolute beauty of a 1A day. Started the day off with a fun one earlier today on the other side of this bracket. It was a battle between Fort Dodge, St. Edmund, the hometown team, and Remsen St. Mary's. The Gales come away with the dub there. They'll get Clarksville after this one concludes. Keep in mind, again, if this score stays, Edco moves on to the championship series. They'll await the winner of the series between Fort Dodge, St. Edmund, and Clarksville.
That first game we were on today, John, way more of a roller coaster ride. You had the big 6-run inning in the second for the Gales that seemed to really win the day, but Remsen St. Mary's came clawing back. They had a bigger inning later on, 3-4 runs in an inning, and this has been so much more of a war of attrition, it feels like, where it took a long time for the balloon to burst. So you put in a breath of air here, a breath of air there. You're just slowly blowing that thing up until you finally got Miller to the point where she cracked. And then, boy, with the minute they gave even a sniff of vulnerability, the Vikings were all over them. And now you're at this point. I remember saying it, that inning before they scored the 4 runs, even just get it to 2. And with the way that Eggle-Cedar's dealing today, you're feeling really good. Now you're sitting here going one more at bat, and we're on our way to the state final. You're feeling like $1 million right now. They're not out of the woods. Things can change, but Everything now is gravy. You've given your ace pitcher 5 runs. Anything more you can add is gravy. Of course, though, you try to end it here, too, if you get to 8.
And another long battle here for Avery Brown. Has a 1-2 count, has found a couple off as well. Miller remains in the circle. And why not let her finish it out here? Just a junior. Again, these teams in 1A kind of go where the pitchers go, as Miller will field her position, make the throw over, and get out number 1 on Avery Brown with the 1-3 putout. But to that point, this is an Exira-EHK-Audubon team that certainly should expect to be back in the mix next year. A few seniors in this roster certainly have helped carry some things. But again, you bring back some key pieces, some key cogs. Riley Miller being one of the biggest, 186 strikeouts this season. And I thought she really dealt a great game. And eventually, to your point, just eventually there's a little bit of a crack, and it broke it open.
Well, something had to give. And it could have given, and it still could give in the 7th, though with the way that Eggleseder's been playing, it certainly doesn't seem like it. But something had to give at some point, and it just, unfortunately for Miller, it was that inning. And otherwise, I mean, she was almost flawless up until that point for 4.5 innings of softball. So there's a ton to look at in this game and say, boy, she's just pitched tremendously all afternoon long. And again, I look back at that inning and I just think someone needed to do something, whether it was a coach, whether it was a big defensive play, something to just kind of, there was a leak in the dam. Someone needed to plug the hole, and Miller needed a little help. It never came. And then all of a sudden, things just started to unravel. The bats came to life at the absolute wrong time for the Spartans, at the right time for the Vikings. And now for Miller, just try to put this one to bed. Get your day in the circle done, and then get to the bats in the bottom of the 7th here, and on a wing and a prayer, see if you can't find a way to get this thing back level pegging.
A full count here has been worked to Dugan. That ball roped out into center, but on her horse and making the play. Lovely job out there by Anna Larson.
Boy, Faith Dugan's had a day, huh? And especially with how, Miller had this lineup in a straitjacket at the beginning of the game. They couldn't get anything going the first 3-4 innings, and Dugan is one of the first people, started taking counts deeper, started to figure out how to maybe put a little heat on Miller, and then once she started swinging the bat, it's been impressive to watch.
That ball chopped, and beating it out with some speed is Hofer. Infield single, and a 2-out rally on the horizon possibly, as the big bat of Rachel Eggleseder steps in once again, has a single and a walk to her name on the day.
And this is where it's all come from, right? I mean, these top 3 batters, and it took a little bit to get the fire started offensively, obviously, but I mean, you look at the sacrifice bunt Hofer made to get Eggleseder set up to drive Dugan in to finally put a blemish on the day for Miller. We've seen the big bat of Schmelzer deeper in the lineup, but it feels like this is where it started offensively for Taylor Huber and this Vikings team. And you can't say enough about the top 3 batters in this lineup today and what's been a grueling day to try to score runs.
Eggleseder's little flare will drift foul for strike 1. And I think Coach Peterson there wanted an explanation, because I will say this, the hit by Hofer took a funky hop out of the box. He wanted to just double check that it wasn't a foul ball or a double contact, and umpires got together, said no. So we play on with 2 outs here in the top of the 7th. And Rachel Eggleseder trying to help her cause just a bit more against Miller. Stays away from that, and that'll be a free base on the pitch that gets away. Hofer will trot down to second.
You can just kind of sense collectively there's just not as much sharpness to everything that's going on right now with the Spartans. It's not over yet. You got to get through this inning and get the bats going. You understand it. It's going to shift when you go down 5-0 in a game, but you just don't sense that same crispness we saw for the 4 innings when this game was 1-0, and try to find a way to conjure that up again and give one last big push in the bottom of the 7th.
That ball fired over. What a snare by Nelson at second. Aubrey Nelson gets the final out of the top of the 7th. What a grab. And now the Spartans down to their final 3 outs, need an answer for 5 runs here, or their season comes to a close. That's next on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
Something exciting is growing on Iowa farms these days. Innovation. From tractors that seed, weed, and harvest with data-driven precision, to drones that scout or plant cover crops to protect soil and water. Even our animals live in smart homes with round-the-clock care. Technology keeps your food safer, water cleaner, and makes us more sustainable. Because what we do here benefits everyone here. Life on the farm makes everyone's life better.
7 strikeouts on the day for Eggle-Cedar. She's eclipsed 300 on the season. With her performance here at the state softball tournament, she's 3 outs away, along with the rest of her Edgewood-Colesburg Vikings, from being in the championship game for Class 1A. And certainly it's been a collective effort today from this Vikings squad. Eggle-Cedar certainly the face of it in the circle, but across the board offensively, it's been a collective effort.
I've just been so impressed by the synergy throughout the team, and the amount of times that if it's a sacrifice bunt, if it's a sacrifice fly, if it's a hit and run, everybody was on the same page. And the same thing goes in the field. They've been really strong executing when there have been balls in play. Yes, there haven't been many, but this looks like a very, very forceful Vikings team that is poised to make their way to the state final, and it does not seem like an easy out for whoever they may have to face, and they're now 2 outs away.
Miller threw her hands at it, shot it down to first. Kirby bats it down and then steps on first for out number 1. Unassisted put out there by Kirby.
Even that wasn't a can of corn. Miller did a good job of getting a pretty good chunk on that ball, and again, there's been no holes in the defense when they've needed to be good. They have been.
Foul ball off the hands of Briley Peterson. She had a single back in the 4th. Going to try and get a 1-out rally started here. Peterson and Wanzer both have the lone hits today. I'm sorry, there are 3 hits. Wanzer's got 2 as there's strike 2 to Peterson. So keep that in mind. Right now, a 3-hit shutout going for Rachel Eggle-Cedar. A swing and a miss, foul tip back. It's squeezed tightly. Out number 2. And the final out for the state playoffs bracket here for Exira-EHK-Audubon. It's Lucy Stannerson. That's grounded to third. Picked cleanly. Vasky throw over. And Edco punching their ticket to the state championship in Class 1A. They'll await the other side of this bracket after a 3-hit shutout by Rachel Eggle-Cedar, a 5-0 victory for the Vikings.
Yes, Rachel Eggle-Cedar, the star in starter for sure today, but I think you nailed it, partner. The true story of this game, yes, Eggle-Cedar is going to be part of the headlines of this, but throughout the lineup, in the field, on the base paths, with a bat in their hand, terrifically executed. Great game plan from head coach Taylor Huber, wonderfully executed. A team that clearly has a ton of chemistry. They know what they're trying to do on a given game, a given play, a given situation. They look like a handful going into the state final. A big congratulations to the Vikings. Also, big congratulations to an Exira-EHK-Audubon Spartan team that will undoubtedly feel like they left something on the table coming in as a number 1 seed. It's heavy lies the crown. When you come in with the number 1 seed, you got a target on your back. The Spartans did. They gave it a noble effort, but boy, they faced a team today in the Vikings that looked like they could very well be state champions in a few days.
Let's turn it over to PA for the final awards presentation.
We would like to congratulate Coach Tom Peterson and the Exira-EHK-Audubon Spartans on a fantastic season. And now, we'd like to recognize today's quick star of the game, from Edgewood-Colesburg, number 25, Rachel Eggleston. This standout performance from the girl of the good team. Thank you, quick star, for their support. IGHSAU.
Once again, Rachel Eggleston, we sing her praises plenty, but this is a team playing sharply as they get ready, unblemished, going to the state championship series. They'll get the winner of Clarksville and Fort Dodge St. Edmund. St. Edmund has to win 2 against Clarksville. We'll see how it shakes out in this double elimination bracket remaining. Ben, final thoughts before we depart.
Yeah, looking at what's remaining in the bracket, you mentioned that the Gales are going to have to win 2 to get there. Not insurmountable, but it does feel like it will be up to this Vikings team to probably unseat the defending champs in Clarksville, and it feels like it might be one dandy of a matchup either way. And just to reiterate, a really impressive performance by the Vikings, well coached, well executed. They have star players that delivered in big moments. Faith Dugan was fantastic from the offensive side. Eggleston helped out too with the bat, as well as obviously her arm. That was brilliant today. And I love the confidence this team has. They're a team that feels like they're here to win. They didn't just show up to get their name on the state tournament bracket and say, hey, we had a good time in Fort Dodge. They came here to win, and I think they're a team that could very well do it. So pleasure sharing the show with you here. Thanks to Randy as well behind us, and I'll be excited to see who comes away with some hardware. The Vikings sure got a good chance at doing so.
All righty, thank you so much, Ben. Once again, John Schaefer, Ben Gisselson, Randy Nielsen, our director.